Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be talking about The Compound by an author who has a very Irish name that I'm not going to attempt to say. This is a book that I feel like I saw a lot of people reading like over the summer, and this definitely gives like summer vacation, beach read sort of vibes to it with a little bit of darkness sprinkled in. The general pitch for this book is that this is like Lord of the Flies meets Love Island, and it's basically like a reality TV based book. You are following this girl or woman named Lily, who I think is in her 20s, like early 20s, and she is on this reality TV show called The Compound, where there are a group of male and female contestants who are competing to stay on the compound the longest. And on this show, there are a variety of like challenges and tasks that the whole group has to complete together in order to get things that they need for the house. So there is like this beautiful house in the middle of nowhere sort of situation, but it comes like with very little inside to start with, and as they complete tasks and challenges, then like things get given to the house. So like they get sent like pool chairs because there's a pool but nowhere to sit outside, or they get sent like furniture for inside the house, they get sent food, things like that after completing challenges, and every now and then there'll be a challenge where they have to kick someone out or vote someone out, things like that. The other way that people get removed from the compound is that every like guy and girl needs to kind of like pair up, and so at the end of a night, if anyone is left like sleeping alone, they end up getting removed from the compound as well. And then there are also like individual tasks and challenges that are basically secretive, and if a contestant finishes one of those, then they get an individual prize. And so there's kind of this balance that contestants have to take in this game in order to like work together as well as work for themselves. And Lily basically wants to stay on the compound for as long as possible, not because there's big cash prize at the end, but basically the rules of the compound is the last person left can stay on the compound and basically get whatever they want. So they can just say like, I want this thing, and then it'll get delivered at the house. So this is kind of an interesting reading experience for me personally. Like I went into it pretty blind, and I honestly think that the less you know about this book, the better it is. I will admit, like off the bat, I'm not a big reality TV show person. Like I've dabbled in it a little bit because I'm a person who's alive and was alive when reality TV really started booming. So I've seen like a couple early seasons of The Bachelor and Bachelorette. Used to watch like Real World Road Rules challenges and things like that. Back in the day, I've seen like Laguna Beach and The Hills. I've seen a couple seasons of The Amazing Race, but I don't really divulge in reality TV as much anymore. Like the only one I think I watch is British Bake Off, if that's considered reality TV. I mean, it is. But yeah, the sort of like dating show ones and like most of the competition shows like Love Island, which honestly I don't even know what the point of Love Island is. Like I just genuinely have no concept of like what happens in them. But from what I can tell, like this book captures that like feeling and experience really well. Like it really does feel like you are reading a book about an actual reality TV show. Like it feels like very fleshed out in terms of like the games aspect of it and the competition aspect of it. The way things kind of like go down between the different contestants feels like very much like something you would see on a reality competition show. And so I feel like if you are someone who is like very into those aspects of the book, or you just like enjoy like competition shows in general, or like reading books that take place with competitions, that will be enjoyable for you. And it's like one of the things that I found enjoyable, like it, because this is a competition, it like keeps the momentum going and you don't really know what's going to happen. Like there's certain things that I feel like are kind of inevitable based on the way things are telegraphed, but I feel like that's also true with reality television shows. But I will say, like for me, that was like the only thing really going for this book. Overall, I found it to be a book that just like really disappointed me. And it's mostly because like throughout the book, Lily and others are constantly like hinting at and talking about the fact that like the world outside of the compound is in a terrible state. You don't really know where in the timeline of the world this is taking place. Is it the far future? Is it the near future, etc.? But it has sort of like a dystopian vibe to it. Lily talks about like how I think she's lost both her father and a brother, potentially in a war that's alluded to that has happened or is currently happening. She talks about like aspects of her life that feel like very real so like she works a retail job and like she's barely getting by, or like, living paycheck to paycheck. And so one of the reasons why she wants to stay on the compound is because like she has access to so many more things than she ever would have access to just working her normal job. And so a part of me was like kind of waiting for more of that like outside of the compound world building, which maybe isn't fair because it's called the compound. And so expecting it to go beyond the compound is probably not the point. But because they kept alluding to things, I kept wanting to know more about like what is happening outside of the world, and like whether or not any of the other characters felt these things as well, especially because like a lot of the things around the tasks and the way the show is set up, like it alludes to everything being very dangerous and people having the potential of like hurting themselves and others in order to stay on the compound. And so like in the back of my head, I'm like wondering like what is forcing them into it. Like when you have something like the Hunger Games, which is kind of like the pinnacle of something along these lines, you can kind of understand the motivations of the characters doing such horrific things. Whereas in this, I didn't really get it as much because it feels too close to the current reality, but a little bit darker and a little bit more dystopian. But you don't really know how dark or how dystopian people's real life situations are. There's like a chapter early on where like one of the tasks is to like talk about or reveal what you did in a previous before you were at the compound, and everyone's jobs just seemed like really normal and standard. So I'm like, okay, so this is modern day and currently, and like there was just like this weird disconnect between like the darkness and sort of dystopianness that's hinted at and what is happening here. There's also an aspect of this where with these sort of like competition dystopian sort of books, there's a level of like realization and recognizing from the characters, at least some of the characters, that like none of this is worth what they're doing. Like the cost is higher than the prize that they're getting. And I felt like that was very lacking in this book as well. Like Lily as a character comes across as being very like vapid basically, and materialistic, because like the things that she wants are just like these like pretty clothes and jewelry and stuff like that and makeup and things like that. And those are the things that she wants and the reason why she's participating. And like there's a little bit more that's like explored, but again, it just doesn't go like deep enough for me personally, that like in the end it's not worth reading, but like it just felt a little bit too superficial, which is also kind of funny considering that it's about a reality TV show, which can be quite superficial sometimes. So yeah, overall, I felt like this was a book that had like a lot of potential, and especially because like the reality show aspect of it is really well done, in the sense of like the author clearly knows reality TV and understands sort of like the typical storytelling plot points and all of that stuff that happens. So it feels very like well researched in that way, but it feels like the other parts of this book are lacking. And so like overall, this was like a 3-star reading experience for me. Like I expected a lot more from it, especially because I saw a lot of people really enjoying this one. And I was just hoping for just like a little bit more meat from this book. Like I think there are themes here that are looking at like consumerism and capitalism and materialism, as well as the need for like connection and community and like friendships and things like that. But it just didn't go deep enough to really like make a difference for me personally to make this a book that I was like, yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. But again, I know a lot of other people who really enjoyed their experience reading this book. So again, I think if you enjoy like reality TV shows and enjoy books that kind of set themselves around reality TV shows and want something a little bit of a darker take on it, then this would be a good one to pick up. So yeah, those are my quick thoughts on The Compound. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of it if you read it, because I would love to hear from other people who read this book. Or if you have any questions, feel free to leave that down in the comment section as well. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.